Hi, welcome to the Rittner Floral School in Boston, Mass. I'm Dr. Steve Rittner, and it's a pleasure to welcome you into one of our classrooms today. The time of year, spring. The occasion, Passover. Today we're going to show you how to make a Passover matzah ball design. That's right, a matzah ball design. Now, why did we choose matzah ball? Well, as far as I'm concerned, out of all the various symbols for Passover, one of the strongest and one of the easiest to work with and manipulate from a design point of view is this stuff, matzah. It is amazing stuff. It is quite easily available. It's relatively inexpensive. We can take this stuff, we can break it down. It's got color, it's got texture. This stuff is amazing. Besides eating it as part of the Passover Seder, we can take this and use it decoratively in our designs. And what you have in front of you here, my viewer, is a ball. It's a matzah ball. Now, I don't know about you, but I love matzah ball soup. So to me, making a big matzah ball was fun. Essentially, we took a container, and then at that point we took matzah, we broke it up into small itty-bitty little pieces, very, very easy to do, just crumbling it up into small pieces, and then glued it onto the surface of our container. We've got our container all ready to go with our foam, our foliage in place, and we're ready to do some designing in it. And I think you're going to find this kind of design is quick, easy, and fun to do. Really, really neat. We can do some very, very cool things with it. I'm taking a little bit of my river cane or bamboo. I'm breaking it down into smaller pieces. I'm going to work a piece over here, another piece over here, another one over on this side. So you can see we're just starting off right away with some bamboo to give us some sort of shape. We're going to use a little bit of branchy stuff in this particular design. This is called kiwi vine. I'm going to start with a little kiwi vine and put a piece of kiwi vine over onto this side. And so I'm just kind of establishing a few pieces of branches in my design before I even add a single flower. Now, of course, when we're talking about coming up with an arrangement for Passover using our matzah ball theme, it's fine to talk in terms of using branchy material, but let's work some flowers in. I'm deliberately, my viewer, picking flowers that I think that you will find really easy to get hold of. Essentially, we're making a design today, although we could have used all kinds of very, very fancy things to work into this arrangement. I am deliberately taking materials that are easily found in a little consumer pack over at a local supermarket, just so that you'll get an idea how you can do something like that, like this design, using fairly easy to get hold of materials. And so I'm taking some of my roses, and I'm taking 3 of them, and I'm working them in there through the center. I'm going to also take another rose and work it in. So I'm really using a little consumer pack that you can get from mass market outlets to come up with something on this design to begin with. And you'll notice that it's coming together very, very nicely. Let's take a few other things from our little package. We have a few carnations in our package. Let's work a few carnations into our piece. And so I'm going to take a carnation, place one over here, place another one over here. In other words, I'm taking very, very simple things that I can find that are easy and work it in. This doesn't mean to say you can't do things that are more elaborate with these kinds of designs. We could easily, for example, take tropical flowers and do all kinds of weird things with it. But I want to show you, my viewer, how we can take everyday materials. Notice I'm putting one over towards the back side. This design is a one-sided piece, but we want to make sure that we have things that are really going in all directions. So now that I have my roses and I have my carnations in place, I'm going to take some of my palms. We have some daisy palms. They're very, very pretty. They hold up very, very well. And I'm going to work some of our daisy palms into this design. And I'm just working them in between the other flowers, gradually filling in with our materials. These designs are quick, they're easy, they're fun. You can use any combination of materials on them. The advantage, of course, is that we have so many different things to play with in our marketplace, and we can really come up with some very, very neat effects. So I'm simply taking my materials, my viewer, and gradually filling in with my flowers on this. I think you're going to find this is a fun design to do. It's quick, it's easy, and I'm just taking flowers and gradually filling them in so that you can see that this thing is coming together very, very nicely. Now I came down a little bit on this side with my rose. I'm going to do a similar thing over here with one of my daisy palms. So I'm just gradually doing the process of filling and working materials in through my design. I see a little spot over here, so I'm going to take another flower and work another flower over in here. And you can see the way this thing is gradually coming together very, very nicely in a very, very cool way. Now at this point, we're going to take a few additional materials. I've got some mini carnations in my little bunch, so I'm going to use a few minis in here and work a few of them in between. So we've got some mini carnations that are going to also play a part in the fill-in process on this arrangement. The idea behind a matzo ball design is we can take something like this and it could be used in an entry hall, it could be used on a mantle, it could be used in a wide variety of different places in the home. These things are quick, easy to do, and the beauty of it is that if you take care of your container here and are careful with it, you could use it year in and year out for different kinds of creations in following seasons. I'm going to take a little bit of my status, which is a very, very nice filler material. Again, we had a stem or two of status. I'm going to work that into our arrangement as well. So we have a little bit of status worked into our design. All right. So you notice that I'm using pretty much everyday materials on this. This is not something composed of fancy or expensive stuff, simply a little consumer grouping that we got at our local mass market outlet, and we're coming up with something very, very pretty. But really the trick on this is the use of our matzo ball, and that's the key factor as far as making it symbolic and interesting for this particular occasion and holiday. So we've got something that's interesting in terms of our flowers, but it still needs a little bit of pizzazzle to it, and so to add a little bit more pizzazzle to it, I'm going to take some material that I found just on my building, some of our ivy vine, and I'm going to take some of our ivy vine and I'm going to weave it right through. Sometimes you can come up with some amazing results on things if you take some of your branchy material and work some of your branchy material into your floral art. And by taking some of our branchy ivy vine, you'll notice that we're taking what appeared to be an everyday kind of piece and something that appeared almost mundane, and we're transforming it. And the ivy vine has been nice and clean, and I just pulled it right off. Actually, I pulled it right off our building. Those of you who come to Rittner's know that we have some ivy growing on the side of the building, and I'm just taking some sections of it and I'm weaving it in through the design. Now, my viewer, you are probably wondering, the ivy vine definitely adds a lot to the design, but how are we going to hold it in place? Very, very simple. We can take some sticks and work some sticks in, and I'm just very, very carefully working a few sticks into my infrastructure. And I'm going to, I'll hold this so that you, my viewer, can see this. I have a small stick, and I'm taking it, working it in through my infrastructure, like so. So it's almost not even seen. And then I have this remarkable stuff called bind wire. And I can take my bind wire, and with a small little piece, I can literally tie this onto it. So I can just weave it in through here, and the bind wire blends in very, very nicely, and I can literally tie this in place. And I'm going to do this only on one, just so that you, my viewer, can get an idea of what I'm doing. And then I can tuck this in, and you don't even notice it. Now, if I were doing this for actual use, I would probably use more than two. In other words, I placed one over here, I placed one over here. I would probably add a few more, and that way I can make sure that this thing is firmly secure. Well, my viewer, what do you think? Quick, easy, and fun. And the whole idea behind this design is to show you how to do your own matzah ball for Passover. We used simple materials here, but you'll notice it's not what we used, it's the way we used it. The combination of our matzah ball with some of our everyday flowers, but mixed in with some ivy that works so well, some of our ivy vine, gives us a really, really interesting and a very, very dramatic design. So get out that matzah, get out your glue, get out some flowers, and play. On behalf of all of us here at Rittner's Floral School, I'm Dr. Steve Rittner. We thank you for coming in and visiting our classroom today. Have a very, very happy Passover.